Foreign workers who wish to obtain permanent residency in Croatia can do so through various channels, such as family reunification, employment, or investment. Here are the general procedures for obtaining permanent residency in Croatia as a foreign worker through employment. 1. Obtain a work permit. Before you can apply for permanent residency in Croatia, you must first obtain a valid work permit. This can be obtained by your employer or by you, depending on the circumstances of your employment. To apply for a temporary residence permit, once you have a valid work permit, you can apply for a temporary residence permit in Croatia. This can be done at the nearest Croatian embassy or consulate in your home country. 3. Meet the eligibility requirements. To be eligible for permanent residency in Croatia, you must meet certain requirements, including having a valid temporary residence permit, proving that you have been employed for a certain period of time, and showing that you have sufficient funds to support yourself and any dependents. Apply for permanent residency. After you have met the eligibility requirements, you can then apply for permanent residency in Croatia. This can be done at the nearest police station in Croatia or at the Ministry of the Interior. 5. Attend an interview. Once your application has been processed, you will be invited to attend an interview with immigration officials to discuss your application and answer any questions they may have. 6. Wait for the decision. After your interview, you will need to wait for a decision on your application. If your application is approved, you will be granted permanent residency in Croatia. If it is denied, you may be able to appeal the decision or reapply at a later time. Eligibility requirements to getting a permanent resident in Croatia by a foreign workers. 1. To be eligible for permanent residency in Croatia as a foreign worker, you must meet certain requirements. The eligibility requirements may vary depending on your individual circumstances and the category under which you are applying. However, some general requirements include: to possess a valid temporary residence permit. Before you can apply for permanent residency in Croatia, you must have a valid temporary residence permit that has not expired. 3. Legal employment. You must have been legally employed in Croatia for a certain period of time, which may vary depending on the category of your application. For example, if you are a highly skilled worker, you must have been employed for at least 1 year. If you are a seasonal worker, you must have been employed for at least 2 consecutive seasons. 4. No criminal record. You must not have a criminal record in Croatia or any other country where you have lived. 5. Sufficient financial resources. You must have sufficient financial resources to support yourself and any dependents during your stay in Croatia. 6. Health insurance. You must have valid health insurance coverage in Croatia. 7. Housing. You must have adequate housing arrangements in Croatia. Sufficient financial resources to getting a permanent resident in Croatia via foreign workers. To be eligible for permanent residency in Croatia as a foreign worker, you must have sufficient financial resources to support yourself and any dependents during your stay in Croatia. The exact amount of financial resources required may vary depending on the category under which you are applying and your personal circumstances, but generally, you will need to demonstrate that you have a stable and regular source of income that meets the minimum threshold set by the Croatian government. The minimum threshold varies depending on the category of your application and the number of dependents you have. For example, if you are applying for permanent residency as a highly skilled worker, you must show that you have a gross monthly salary that is at least equal to the average gross monthly salary in Croatia. If you are a seasonal worker, you must show that you have sufficient financial resources to cover your living expenses in Croatia during your employment. In addition to demonstrating a stable source of income, you may also be required to show that you have adequate savings or assets to support yourself and any dependents during your stay in Croatia. You may also be required to provide evidence of your financial resources, such as bank statements, employment contracts, or tax returns. It is important to note that the specific financial requirements for obtaining permanent residency in Croatia may vary depending on your individual circumstances and the category of your application, so it is always best to consult with a qualified immigration lawyer or advisor for guidance.